Jadi Kish, Eugene, kita dah cover pertama sekali peringkat awal, the formative years of Giancarlo Gallifuco. Lepas tu kita dah ke Premier League, kita dah ke Spurs, kita dah ke Swansea, kita dah balik pun ke A-League dan kita dah cover juga macam mana dia boleh sampai ke Kuala Lumpur dan
Reject Selangor.
Reject Selangor in the process. So sorry. Dan sekarang ni kita nak berada di reality sekarang ni. The now. What's happening now? The talk of the town. The elephant in the room, right? AFC Cup final, GG.
I remember being with Faiz and Botak. Not even the game against Sogdiana, but I remember being there with Faiz and Botak in that when we did the pre-show at the KL fans live viewing party when you guys were in India, and that game against ATK Mohun Bagan. And I remember being there with Faiz and Botak, and I remember us just having a chat, and we were just looking at each other and looking at the way the game was going, 22% ball possession, and we were just like, surely they are not going to do this. Like, and I remember just Faiz smiling on the side, and I know why he was smiling, because this guy is the #1 Jose Mourinho fanboy.
Okay.
And you could see that he had a sense of appreciation for what was happening on the screen.
So you know the tactic, yeah.
Because that was vintage Mourinho ball.
Yeah.
22% ball possession, 3 goals scored against 1.
I stood up for you guys.
And
Thank you
and
very
that
much.
alone summed up the journey.
Yeah.
The most ridiculous journey in a football tournament. Underdogs for so many of these games, but you guys came out of it victorious. Every step of the way, people thought, okay, this is where it's going to end. But then it didn't. And then the next one, surely it's going to end here, but it didn't. And the same thing repeated itself, and all of a sudden, you're in the AFC Cup final. How did this even happen, Gigi?
Oh.
He nearly used a profanity there.
Yeah. I was trying to think, how do I say it without profanities? You know, I can't. Every time I get the chance to, I try to speak as highly as I can about the players around me and the coaching staff and the CEO, because to be honest, Boyan and Nenad are incredibly good coaches. The vision is Stanley, and then the players around me have performed incredibly well. And, you know, from Kamal being ridiculously consistent without making a peep. He doesn't say a word, and the guy plays so solid every game. To the rise of Declan Lambert, to the engine that is Akram, who I have like endless appreciation for, because that I'm behind him, you know, left Akram, right, up, down, left, and the guy would just non-stop run. You know, Ifan is playing unbelievable, and then I can go further and further forward, and you got the cap, Paulo Josue is top goal scorer in the cup, you know, and then even though not necessarily as prolific, Rommel works so hard, so hard, and this unit I can't say enough how proud I am of them. But this journey from the start to this point has been these 20 players, just every time it gets to that moment where we're playing that game, giving 250%. And people think like, you know, it's about, when you say that, it's about being expressive and playing beautiful football and attacking, and that, to be honest, that's the easier bit. Everybody wants to do that. Everybody can do that in your local five-a-side league. But it's how many times do you have 11, 12, 13, 16 boys, because obviously the players that come on, that want to do the dirty work, that want to do the stuff that doesn't get you on the front of the article, that doesn't get you the sexy photo. You know, how many times do you have a team full of players that will stay and willing to cop barrage after barrage and defend at the plan of you opening up so we can strike? It's so rare that you have the whole team on the same wavelength. And that's where I've got to tip my hat to all my teammates and also the coaching staff, because we all have one exact mindset. And when it comes to finals football, and you take a team to the deep end, and every team has had a bigger budget than us. Every team has had probably better players on paper than us, better players one-on-one than us. But when it gets to the 70th, 80th, 90th, 110th, 120th minute, how many of you want to die for your teammate? Because I can say that I would for Ifan and Ifan would for me. And that's the reason we're still here.
I remember in that game against ATK Mohun Bagan, their star man slash their player to watch, the left winger. Obviously, he attacks Declan, if I'm not mistaken. Declan.
Left wing, he was
winger.
playing.
The right
Left
winger.
winger was Kamal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he attacks it.
Yeah.
The skinny guy.
Yeah.
Who comes.
Yeah, he was a good player.
So I told these guys in the first half, they were dominating. Obviously, KL was absorbing everything at the time. I told one of the guys, I said, if this guy cannot get an assist or a goal in this half, he would not get that all match. He would not. He will never get it. And he didn't. That's how much I can proudly say now. That's how much belief I had in you guys at that time.
I appreciate that a lot.
Right? Because of the way it unfolds at that night,
Yeah.
right? Back to Cheras in the group stage. Tampines dengan PSM Makassar. You won a game and drew against Tampines. The group of players, did any of them at that particular point out that, hey guys, we can go all the way?
No.
Nah. Right?
No. We have a very short mindset. Even when we come
Talk
to
to
the
us
game.
about that.
Yeah, even when we come to a game, we often say minute by minute, because we just believe that if you can bring the goal or the hurdle or the challenge as close to you as possible, you focus just on that time and do your job just for that time. That's done, next minute. And if you can do that all the way, you perform to your best. Don't start thinking step 2 and step 3 when we have step 1. Just, we bring it game by game, challenge by challenge. And, coming out of that group stage, I can't even say I was thinking of anything other than, wow, I can't believe we did this. We have Vitel. This is going to be an incredible experience. Cross your fingers.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about one of the most unsung heroes in your team, and someone that I know you have a deep sense of appreciation for, Akram Mahinan.
My statesman. My
Yeah,
fellow
from
statesman.
Kedah. In that game against Sogdiana, Akram clocked 14 kilometers distance covered throughout the game. Just to put a bit of context, Thomas Muller holds the record for the most amount of distance covered in an entire World Cup. I can't remember which one it was, but in that World Cup, he covered 84 kilometers, which if you average it out across 7 games, that's about 12 kilometers per game. Akram covered 2 more. He's an incredibly hard-working defensive midfielder and does a role that almost will never put him in the spotlight, and that would almost never allow him to get the sort of respect and appreciation that he deserves. But he does it week after week, game after game, and it's been such a fundamental part of this journey.
Yeah. And to what I said before, how many of these teams have that? How many of these teams have that? And I sing Akram's praises wherever I am, and I scream about most of them, to be honest, most of the players in my team. But Akram specifically, because I know that what he does is literally the least sexy job. But we do not work without him. He is a ridiculous engine. He works so hard, covers so much ground. And, you know, you two are two football intelligence savvy people. So you can see things. But the common 90%, let's say, of fans, they don't see things that someone shuts down before they happen. That's hard to see. You have to be a footballer, an analyst to know that. Akram stops fires before they're even anywhere near about to be lit. He covers and blocks things before the pass is made, which makes the defending, you're funneling it. So you're giving that guy 2 options instead of 5 or 6 options, which means me and Ifan, or me and whoever's playing, can concentrate on these 2 things. So for every accolade that me and Ifan and Kamal and Declan and even Kevin win, it's a funneling system that's happening. So you're shifting the options less and less and less and less and less so that we can put our best foot forward. So I have to say, like I always do about him, but I would not get the success that I have.
I don't think I've ever looked at defensive midfielders from the point of view of a funnel.
Yeah.
This is new, and
Funneling.
I like that. I think it's very fascinating, the fact that you look
That'll
at
be
defensive
my
midfielders.
word of the month.
Yeah, funnels,
funneling.
right? And to be fair, it is true, right? Like,
It is.
it's all about reduction of options.
Of course.
Right? It's not necessarily scoring goals, assists, or the number of tackles you make, because sometimes defensive midfielders get quantified by the number of tackles they make.
Yep.
But sometimes it's just about reducing the amount of options that your opposition has
Yep.
to cause problems.
Exactly.
to
And
you
when you
guys.
think about it, he has to think twice faster than anybody else to even sniff the danger.
Yeah.
Makes it even more respectable. right?
No, and another difficult thing is that he has to be 360 peripheral.
Mm.
I don't.
Mm.
I can have the ball and the player. I can be 180.
Mm.
He has to be 360. So he has to think the player's there.
Mm.
I call for him to go right, and he has to just trust me.
Mm.
That is so hard to do while you're exhausted, running, have your own view, listening to someone behind you, do that,
Sure.
you know. But he does it remarkably well.
That's my favorite defensive midfielder in Malaysia right there.
Yeah,
Mine too.
yeah, easily one of the finest of his generation. I mean, GG, we could go on and on. We could genuinely go on and on talking, and I hope at some point, we could have revisit this conversation again
You'll return here.
as AFC Cup champions, hopefully.
Oh,
As the AFC Cup champions, hopefully. But for now, I think Faiz and I want to say, big thank yous to you for
Thank
taking
you.
the time out
thank you guys.
to speak with us, and hopefully this weekend, because Faiz and I will be there at the stadium.
Awesome.
It's going to be
awesome,
insane. It's
awesome.
going to be probably one of the biggest games in Malaysian football history. Only the second time a Malaysian team has ever been to the AFC Cup final. And we just want to wish you the absolute best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you very
Enjoy it, mate. Enjoy,
Thank-
just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Bring
I
that
know you
trophy
will.
home.
I know you
Yeah,
will.
yeah.
Bring
Thank
bring
you.
that trophy back to where it belongs.
Thank you. Thank
Kuala
you.
Lumpur. Thank you so much, GG. And for now, thank you so much yang menonton kat rumah. Jangan lupa Sabtu ini final Piala AFC melibatkan KL City dan juga Al-Sib. Aku dan Faiz akan ada di
Kita akan
situ
ada di sana.
bersama Botak. GG akan ada di situ mengebudi jentera pertahanan Kuala Lumpur City. Jumpa korang final Piala AFC.